Thursday, January 24th, January 14th, 2004. It's now, what time? 7:10. Before I start the meeting, we had an executive session concerning some matters at the airport, contracts, leases. Okay, we'll rise for silent meditation. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Very nice. You could go up and down.
Bast.
Here.
Cassatt.
Here.
Mope. Here. Sosar.
Here.
Mundy.
Here. First, approving the minutes of the previous meeting, January 6th, 2014.
Excuse me, Jack. I didn't complete them.
Oh, okay. That's
Sorry,
okay.
I forgot to take them.
That's not a problem. Proclamations, communications, none.
None.
Courtesy of the floor regarding matters on our agenda only. None.
Jeff.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I see we have a bunch of appointees that are people, some that are reappointed, which I have no problem with if they've been on, but the people that are getting appointed, I have problems with anybody that we're going to appoint to a board or a council because of the fact that you're going to be representing the city. If these people are coming on, I would suggest at their expense, because if they want to be on this, that they do a thorough background check. And I'm not just checking if there's anything criminal. I'm saying anything bankrupt, anything that goes like that in their past records, because that would affect the city. If they're on a board that's controlling money or has a possibility of, say, getting bribed, I think that there should be something there, that there is no money incentive, that these people, if they're like, there's a background check done on them. And also, if they are going to be on there, I have problem, I just have an example on one of the appointees of language that was used on Facebook. Facebook is a social media. There's always say it, forget it, write it, and it's there forever. And one of the things, the strong language that was used, and it's used more than once because I've witnessed it more than once, and I just shake my head that people would come out and say this kind of language towards people that they don't even know in regards to questioning things that have happened. One of the things that I've witnessed on it, I don't have the page on it, but when our chief of police got into an accident, people did question, certain things. And this one individual did go off on people and called them all sorts of names. They've also, I don't have that thing, but I did witness that. And I'm sure there are other people. I mean, if I need to, I could probably pull them up that, did see this. If you're that much of a hothead on a social media page, I don't want you on a board. I don't want you on a council. I don't want you on anything like that, because how am I to say that you're going to be there on that board and somebody's going to say something that you don't like and you're going to go off on them? That's just not right. So, considering that these people want to be appointed, if they weren't getting reappointed, let them pay for a background check. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not just saying, I'm so I can go thoroughly into their background and make sure that these people are right for Hazleton. Because I have told the board before, or the council, I'm sorry, I've told the council before, previous to you guys taking over, that Hazleton deserves the very best. And if you're going to put somebody in there, you better make sure that they're the very best for this, that they're qualified on all degrees. And like I said, if they're going to have anything with zoning or anything like that, hey, if I'm on the zoning board, you want to build something or you need something done, I'll make sure it gets through. Just hand me a couple bucks. I don't want to see that happen. There's too much nepotism right now in this city. There's too much going on in the city that, this guy I know or this guy I know. It shouldn't be. It should be the best people qualified. Mm.
Just one question,
Go ahead,
if I could,
yes, go ahead.
Chairman. Are you talking about the possibility of maybe looking into I don't know if we can do it or not at this point, but I understand your concern. Are you talking about an Act 51 investigation? I know that oftentimes, as a teacher, for example, I have to go through that if I'm going to walk into a classroom and be checked on out by the police to know that I'm not offended in any kind of way, felony or criminal charges or anything like that.
Right,
Because
and,
I can't walk into a classroom then.
Right.
Is that what kind of
Kind of something like
investigation you're
that, just to
looking
make
at?
sure, and like background as far as like,
Right.
you know, I don't want anybody on a board that, you know, if they owe, like if I was trying to go on a board and I owed a ton of money to somebody and I'm financially stressed, I don't want to have that person on that board. I wouldn't want to be appointed that board because temptation comes along. And that's why I'm saying, like, if we're appointing new people into any circumstance, this should be brought up that all these people should be checked
Right.
thoroughly, because I don't want to see anybody where their hands is out over here and they're taking, and it doesn't, you know, just to affect something else.
Right.
You know, like I said, we do deserve the best for Hazleton. We need to get back on the right track.
And I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree with you on background checks. I got to be honest with you, when it comes to social media, you're talking to a dinosaur.
Yeah, well,
And I refuse actually to deal with social media because of that.
I say very little on it.
I refuse to go on and be a member of Facebook or anything like that simply because
Because
I've run into
it bites you. It does bite
people
you.
I have a face, a picture on a fictitious website right now that they're calling it by a different name, and some of the things that people have put on are not very nice.
Right.
And I refuse to go on websites because of that. So
I-
I got to be honest with you. I'm one that would not even know to check. I don't even know all the names of them anymore for that reason. But I understand your concern.
I've seen, like, I'm on Facebook, and I've seen people go back and forth on each other. And to me, it's ridiculous. It really is. And I sit back and I think, you guys are acting like babies. You really are. And if you're that hot-headed on something that you could sit behind a computer and hide, then how are you in the public? Like, if you go off on somebody that way. It's just not right. And like I said, that is something that we have to address. We just have to address. So, like, anything that's in somebody's background, if they're a hothead or if they've had any kind of issue, then we should definitely address it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak on the agenda only? Okay, we'll go into old business, ordinances none. Resolutions none. New business, ordinances none. Resolution, the first is Resolution 2014-11, the reappointment to the International Building Code and the International Property Maintenance Code Board of Appeals. Mike Wilfling, I have somebody present?
I'll present.
Second.
Second. Chris, I know it lists two here. Is that a problem, or are we okay with that?
To what, Jack?
Two boards.
He's appointed to two boards on one resolution.
That's fine. If you can combine them in the same resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, sure.
On the question? Mike's here if you want to ask him any questions about his background. I know a while back you did have a resume. I don't have a current one, but you could maybe briefly explain some of your experience, Mike. Just briefly. With the state of New Jersey. Okay. Any questions for him? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope. Yes. Sosar,
Yes.
Monday.
Yes. Next is 2014-12, appointment to the Shade Tree Commission, Wilma Ruggiero.
Present.
Wait a sec.
Wait a minute,
I'm missing that one.
I'm missing one too.
Okay, well, it's on the... It's 2014-12.
I have 2013, I'm missing 2012.
Okay, well, it's Wilma Ruggiero to the shade tree.
Is this
Here.
yours?
Yeah.
Let me make one.
Dr. Sosar, I think, presented, and who second?
I'll sit a second.
Jeannie second. On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope. Yes. Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2014-13, appointment to the Zoning Hearing Board, Kevin Shatter.
I'll present.
Second.
On the question? I have just one or two questions. I know, Chris, did you research where someone who leaves council could serve on a board and get paid? We're okay with that?
I have not been asked to look at that, Jack, honestly.
Oh, I thought you were.
How about you, Charlie?
Charlie,
Yes,
did you?
we were asked to take a look at it, and that is okay. We didn't find anything that would prohibit that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Mr. Shatter, you'd been on the board before, as I remember correctly, the zoning board before, right?
You could come up here, Kevin, up to the podium if you'd like.
That's all I was wondering about, because that goes back, I guess, what, 2 or 3 years? How long were you serving on the board before?
I was on the board for about 9 years, 8 years actually, and due to the unfortunate circumstances which arise with Mr. Poletsky and Mr. Best, whom I have deep and profound respect and whom I've learned quite a bit from with the zoning board. There's a great need for experience because, as you see, there are 3 appointments who are on the board as of this time, and the other person, who the other 2 people who have served on the board. One is 1 year, and the other person has been on the board for approximately 3 years. So there's a need for someone with experience who is aware of the zoning code, and I certainly fit that mode.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Sure.
I know on a television interview, the mayor said that he was getting rid of Poletsky and Bass because they voted for Minsek.
Okay.
Why is he appointing you when you voted for it too?
That's something that you would have to ask him. I don't know. I can't
You
speak
didn't
of
talk
him.
to him about that, the mayor? He didn't ask you about that?
No, I had actually asked the mayor to not to accept their resignation.
Yeah.
I had asked them because I know what Mr. Bast or Mr. Poletsky have provided over all these years for the zoning board, but also for the city. And actually, I'm one of the people who had started the process to try to get Minsek out of this town. Actually, I was Mr. Poletsky and myself. Actually, when the Mayor Barletta at that time, when we had heard of all of the issues that, actually before they had actually came up to the paper, Mr. Poletsky and myself had arranged a couple of meetings with the Mayor Barletta at the time and the administration at the time to sit down and talk about some of those issues and the testimony that has been presented. It's widely been known throughout the city through various organizations that they had misrepresented themselves. And so, through the actions of Mr. Poletsky and myself, we had started the ball to roll as to rid Minsek of this town because of many reasons. I didn't know if you had if you were aware or not that the city could not have really have gone forward with any kind of lawsuit against them because of Minsek misrepresented themselves to the city of Philadelphia in an issue similar to this. And in that issue, the zoning board of Philadelphia took Minsek to court. They sued them over their misrepresentation, in which the city was found liable for that. And in the end result, the city of Philadelphia had to pay. I don't exactly remember the exact amount. It was between $1 and $3 million to Minsek. For that, they said that the end result was a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. They said that because of the treatment that these people who receive the treatment there follow under the a person with a disability, and so that's why the city was found liable.
Well, any other questions? The problem with me is the mayor saying he threw off Poletsky and Bass because of MinSec, and now he's
Well, he didn't
reappointing
really
you.
throw them
I don't.
off.
I
They
don't.
gave resignations.
In my, you know, I had talked to Mr. Bast. I had talked to Mr. Poletsky, you know, about, you know, prior to the zoning meeting where this had come out, and they had called me about it, and I talked to them, and they had said that, you know, that they weren't satisfied with, you know, what came up with the place up on Poplar Street.
Well, are you familiar with what happened?
Absolutely, because
Would
they
you-
had called me about it.
What would you have done?
I had talked to Rick Weck about it, actually, too. I had talked to Solicitor Slusser about the issue. I had talked to the mayor. I talked to all the people who were involved in this situation, rather going, you know, towards the paper, you know, whatever. And so, you know, to be honest with you, I think, you know, I'll let my opinion, you know, I'll speak with you privately about that.
Well, I don't
You know,
think it
because-
matters, but I think if I was on the zoning board and the mayor or someone went around me and went around the law, because the law is when you're refused zoning, you go to the court, the next
Right.
court. You don't go to the mayor. You don't run around it.
Right.
The next step is the court.
Right.
Is Luzerne County Court.
Right, you have there's an appeals process
And
that you follow.
they would
so
have been
with
fine,
that,
I'm
what
sure, if
happened?
it went to that court and they were reversed, but it didn't happen that way.
Right. And there's an appeals process that's involved with it. I think it's much more involved than, you know, the mayor overriding, you know, something. I think it's much more involved than that.
If I could say
Go ahead.
We went through that with the meth clinic when it was
Right.
going up on Buttonwood Street.
Right.
And the public ended up, we pulled our money together, we went
Right.
to court, we won the case.
Sure.
They appealed it, we went back again, won again. And that's the process that should have been done.
Absolutely.
Not what the mayor did.
Right.
And it created a problem with the zoning board, and we lost two valuable people.
Two guys that had all the experience that you can't replace, you know, and that's
That's
the
very unfortunate.
that's the unfortunate situation, you know, behind it all. And like I said, that you know, they've served honorably, and you know, I wish that they were still there, to be honest with you.
So do I.
And but you know, we need someone who has experience with that and who knows how to run the meetings, who's experienced with the code, and that's me.
Okay, any other questions?
Just one comment, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
In looking at the resolution 2014-13 and 2014-14, I believe that there should be a correction. It probably should, because these are filling out a remaining term, should not be for an entire 3-year period. If you do indeed approve these, it should be for the remainder of whatever the term of the resigning individual would be.
Yeah, was Mr. Poletsky on already, or was his term just up? I thought it was just coming up this year.
No, I think his term was up this year.
Okay,
Yeah, so
then
that would
Yeah.
be 3. But
And
the
Mr. Bast.
following one for Mr. Bast is a 2-year one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll make that change, thanks. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. No other questions? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
No.
Sosar,
No.
Mundy.
No. Next, resolution 2014-14.
This one has to get changed.
Yeah, well, we'll have to present it and then change it. To appoint Villemarie Budd to the zoning hearing board.
I'll present.
Second. On the question? We have to make an amendment to 2 years.
Yes.
I'll make that amendment to be a 2-year term. On the amendment? Second?
I'll second.
Second. On the amendment?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Okay, on the question, is she here? Ville Marie, could you come up to the podium to answer any questions that we might have? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions?
Not really a question, but Bill and Maria, you and I have seen one another many a times at meetings
We have.
in the city, be it CASA, be it, I guess I'm
When the
forgotten
candidates
some-
were running at Vesuvio's, we
Or the-
spoke there.
Yes. I guess the only thing that I'm looking at, are you familiar at all with any of the areas of zoning? Are you ready to tackle that? I mean, that's a very difficult position within this.
Honestly, I'm not familiar with it, but I am ready to tackle anything with the city.
I know you've taken on a lot of things. Will this fit within your schedule?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
I just have one or two. Ville Marie, you work for PP&L Utilities in
I do.
Hazleton? Presently, you're with them?
I do.
Where at?
Up at the WYL, up East 9th,
The
Gans building.
Ann Center, the Gans building, okay. And you're doing that since 2012?
That's correct.
And before that, you have Pinnacle Cleaning Service Company, Hazleton, PA?
I was a supervisor there.
And is that located in Hazleton?
Yes.
I went on the website, I didn't see that they were...
The office is actually Mountaintop, but I worked out of Hazleton.
Okay, that's where their main office is.
And previously, before that, I was head bilingual operator with Verizon with directory assistance.
Yeah, I see that here. Okay, any other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
But I would
Oh,
like to say you do a lot of community service work and I appreciate the fact that you've stepped up to the plate through the years.
And I'm proud to be a citizen of Hazleton, although I'm not a Hazletonian. And I'm proud, and I take pride in what I do for the city. I don't do it for money, and I'm not a person that would take money under the table.
Oh, yeah, I would believe that.
That's not me. I don't come from that type of a family, and I wouldn't do that.
We were not saying that
No.
at all.
Okay, I'm
And
just
I-
letting it know.
I've seen you at enough meetings and participated in enough things to know that I believe you to be an honest person, and I believe that you are in it for the right reasons. And so first of all, I applaud you for all the things that you've done so far.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next on the agenda is 2014-15, reappointment to the Zoning Hearing Board, Michael Possessor.
I'll present.
Second.
Jeff seconds. On the question?
This is a reappointment?
Yes.
Yeah. No other questions? Roll call.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, 2014-16, reappointment to the Shade Tree Commission, Aline Petriliak.
I'll present.
I'll second.
Who, Dr. Sosar presented, Jean second.
I
On the
think-
question? Oh,
Keith-
Keith second? Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I
Keith
said-
Keith
I
second,
pre- oh.
that's fine.
He seconded.
Oh, Keith presented, okay, sorry, Keith presented and Jeannie second. On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Monday.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2014-17, reappointment to the Planning Commission, Rocco Bognet.
I'll present.
Second.
Dr. Sokar, second. On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Monday.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2014-18, appointment to the Planning Commission, Craig Budd.
I'll present.
I'll second. I second it. On the question? Craig, could you come to the podium for a couple of questions, please? Sure, no problem. Anybody has questions?
Mr. Buddy, the only thing that I really I'm concerned about always, and I've shared this with you before, is the idea, and standing behind the podium right now, I can't see for sure, but I get very scared, I got to be honest with you, when I see that gun. That bothers me. I know that you're licensed, but it is a thing that just is, I'm one, I've never touched a gun in my life. I wouldn't know what to do with a gun. And it terrifies me when I see at meetings and places like this around here right now that I see that. And it always brings into question a concern that I have. I got to be honest with you.
Which I understand. I respect that.
I know that we've talked, and I've heard you being anxious at the podium before, and with some yelling and all that. And we all have raised our voice at times. I know, but that scares the bejeebers out of me. I got to be honest with you.
Okay, I understand that, but yes, you've seen me raise my voice, all right? Did I ever threaten anybody or even make a move for it? No, okay? Number one. Number two, what I'm doing is perfectly legal, okay? Hold on 1 minute, let me finish. I know you're probably concerned that I'm going to go on that planning board and throw in the gun. It will be covered, okay? I am also a volunteer for the...
Wait.
For the hold on.
You're going to take your gun to the meetings. You're going to open carry there.
No, I did not say that. I did not say that. I said I will. I said I will cover it.
So you will take it?
If I'm allowed to, yes.
Okay.
And I'm not.
Okay, that's enough.
You know, if I was sitting on city council, if I was elected to the council, I'd be carrying there because I'm allowed to. Okay? You can't restrict where I can and cannot carry as long as it's
Craig,
legal.
You've used your gun before, so you were.
It is self-defense shooting
Okay,
that
you
was
tried.
justified. I did nothing criminally wrong.
saying you-
If you're going
you
to bring
used
that up, police officers have used their gun too.
I know, I'm
Millions
saying
of
you
people.
used it.
Okay, there was a gentleman, last year or 2 years ago, used his gun when somebody broke in his house. Okay, so you're going to bring that up? That's got nothing to do with this appointment, Jack,
Okay.
and you know that.
Okay, but you said you're going to bring it to the meetings.
If I'm allowed to, yes. You can't stop me. Okay? I will talk to the other members if they have no problem, but it will be covered. I go to plenty of meetings, okay? And there's times I cover it
Can't go
because
in
of
the
the type
Luzerne
of
County
meeting.
Courthouse with a gun.
Excuse me?
Can't go in the Luzerne County Courthouse with a gun.
No, but I could bring it there and lock it up in the lockers.
Yeah, but you can't go in the courthouse.
Well, no.
Okay, I just wanted.
But I
to
can bring it there
clarify.
to lock it up in the lockers.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
No.
Sosar,
No.
Monday.
No. Next on our agenda is 2014-19, reappointment to the Health Board, Dr. Barbara Volusius.
Presented.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2014-20, appointment to the Hazleton Housing Authority, Amilcar Arroyo.
I'll present.
I'll second.
On the question?
Just on the question.
Yeah, you could come to the podium, Amilcar. Thank you.
I don't know of anyone who has probably more knowledge of situations that go on in town. You are a person who has done an awful lot in assisting and, in some cases, putting out fires and working to help on out within this community. So I really have no problem with you serving on the Housing Authority, Mr. Arroyo. Again, I would ask just one thing of you, because I know how much you do. Do you have the time? Do you feel capable time-wise to be able to do this? Is my only concern.
You know, I'm in a few boards of directors, and time is coming. When I accept a commitment, I know what I'm doing. But I agree with your question, and I have a time for do that, Dr. Sosa.
Thank you,
Thank
my
you.
friend. I know that you'll do a good job.
Are you on Luzerne County, the school board, the college?
I'm not in the school board. I'm the advisory committee.
Advisory committee?
Yeah.
Okay, not on the board?
No, not in the board.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I think he'll do a wonderful job.
Any
Thank
other
you,
questions?
Eugene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next is 2014-21, appointment to the Downtown Overlay District Review Committee, Stephanie Polinsky. This is a reappointment.
I'll present.
I'll second.
On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2014-22, reappointment to the Downtown Overlay District Review Committee, Lorenzo Wright.
Presented.
I'll second.
On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2014-23, reappointment to the Downtown Overlay District Review Committee, Krista Schneider.
I'll present.
I'll second.
On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2014-24, reappointment to the Downtown Overlay District Review Committee, Donna Palermo.
I'll present.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2014-25, reappointment to the Downtown Overlay District Review Committee, Sue Farley.
I'll present.
I'll second.
On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2014-26, reappointment to the Civil Service Commission, Rocco Formica.
Present.
I'll second.
On the question? Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. That's it for our resolutions. Comments from the audience? No comments from the audience? You could comment on anything and everything.
I was here before regarding the parking garage.
Yeah, I remember, but you state your name and your address, please.
Oh, Judy Dowd, Hazleton.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, what is your last name?
Dowd,
Dow. Okay,
And
thank
where
you.
do you live, Judy?
in Hazleton.
Hazleton, okay.
Close. It's hard to hear.
The parking garage, the lighting was done in it. The exit area of the garage, 32 lights are out, only 22 are functional. So I've brought this up before. I've talked to the mayor's office. I just talked to Stephen Hahn about it this week. I've talked to Frank Vito on numerous occasions. He insists all the lights are working. I don't know really who paid for this project, if it's the city who paid for it or if it's the parking authority. If it was covered under the parking authority, that has never been made clear to me. In some cases, I've been told, well, the parking authority paid the money to have this done.
To have what done, Judy?
The lighting redone in the parking garage.
Redone.
It was done in November.
Right.
It was completed right before Thanksgiving.
And how many are operating?
Out of all the lights in the exit, 22 are on, 31 are off. And with that being said, the problem is when the lights fell down originally, they were all falling down in the exit because the bank building in the alley protects the other open area of the garage. The wind can't whip through there because of the bank building. But the Chestnut Street side, there's no protection. So from the rotting of the conduit and all the decay in there, the lights were falling down. When they fell down, the fire department came in, cut off the wires, and capped them. Well, they never, in some areas there, they never replaced the conduit, the wiring. They didn't replace any of the conduit or junction boxes through the entire garage. When I questioned that, the gentleman doing the work said the city didn't even want to put up new light fixtures. Now, whether that be the parking authority or the city, I'm not really clear on who paid for it, but somebody paid money to have this done. And the point is, the taxpayers paid it, and the lights are out in the exit. I have pictures I can show you how bad it is.
I'm going to go there right after the meeting.
Yeah.
Is Dominic here?
Dominic's not here, but Rick, what's the story? What are they doing anything there, or?
I don't know, Jack. I haven't been in at all.
Want to look at it, Keith? Want to look? Does anybody know, Chris Les, who did the work in there for the lighting?
We're at you.
At the parking garage on Whaleman Street?
I don't know personally.
I don't know if it was done with a grant or what.
And that's when they were all on, or?
Park as well.
Right before I came here, I took pictures so you can see the difference between the exit and the entrance.
You want to show down?
Yeah.
We take a look, Steve?
It's dark, but just make it light, yeah. You just have to press the button. That's the exit, right? The entrance.
This is the fully lit entrance.
The entrance is okay?
Yes.
It's just the exit?
The exit.
Okay.
And I'll show you the exit. That's the exit.
Bet Steve's not here.
In order to leave the garage, you have to go out the exit. And my big concern is, first of all, money was paid for it, and the job wasn't, to be quite frank, it was done half-assed, in all honesty. The contractor himself told me that the conduit and the junction boxes should have been replaced. When I questioned Frank about that, he actually asked me if I knew what conduit and junction boxes were. I may be a woman, but that doesn't make me void of intelligence. I know what the conduit is, and I know what the junction boxes are.
So do I.
And they're rotted right through. The water is pouring in there, and I think what has happened is when they cut down the conduit to take down the lights that were hanging, like the one that was hanging in front of my vehicle the last time I was here, they never replaced any of that. They just went in and put up lighting wherever there was a fixture, and where there wasn't, well, too bad. It had to be cut down, so we weren't replacing that. If you're going to pay for the lighting, why only pay to light portions of the garage? Frank's also told me, people are telling him it's too bright in there. I actually had a gentleman from, I had a gentleman from the CEO office. He actually came up to me. I didn't know who he was, never saw him before in my life. He approached me in the garage. He asked me if I was the person who talked to the newspaper about the garage. I told him I was. He said to me, well, I want to thank you, because he said, my employees now can leave one at a time. He said, before this, I was making them leave in groups. I've gone into that garage when there's heroin needles next to my car. I mean, it's not a place that should be dark. I had the police there twice on occasions where they had to take the heroin needles out from under my car and the packets of heroin out of the corner, the empty packages.
That's why it needs to be lit.
It does.
I never saw a garage that doesn't need to be lit.
Yeah, and it's just, the money was paid for it. Why isn't it? Why can't anyone answer me? I keep going back and forth with, and maybe that's why I'm coming to you people for an answer. The mayor's office is telling me the city doesn't own the garage yet. The parking authority is telling me the city now owns it. Nobody can seem to answer me on who owns the parking garage, who's in charge of it, or what's going on with it.
Frank.
I know Frank
I have
is in
Frank
charge
on
of
the
it.
phone now.
Okay.
Frank, I'm at a council meeting. We're talking about the parking garage. I see that the exit is lit fine. That's okay, right? Or the entrance?
Entrance.
The entrance is fine. That the exit seems like there's some lights missing, or could there be some work that wasn't done right when some people put that in? Could you look at that and? Okay, well, some of them are on sensors. Well, I'm going to go past there after the meeting tonight, but take a look at it tomorrow. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
This is what Johnny, the meter guy, told me. I approached him because he was in the booth. And I said to him, is it my imagination or is it black in here? You can't see. He said, oh, the lights are on sensors. I said, no, wait a minute. He said, some come on sometimes, and then others come on at a later time, so that they're all on. I said, the entire garage is lit except the exit. I went back over and looked. I went back at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. 11:30 at night, the lights were still out. At that point, I gave up. Because if you're not going to put them on when it goes dark, why would you turn them on at 2 o'clock in the morning when there's nobody leaving the garage?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It does, and I'm telling you, I think they think because I'm female, I'm just void of intelligence, but that's the impression I'm getting. And I'm going back and forth with this, and I'm there 4 years in the garage.
Yeah, I know.
And so the lights
I'm
were...
going to go past it tonight and take some pictures of myself, and I'll call Mr. Vito in the morning, too.
Another thing I'd like to ask, is there any way that this city would consider an ordinance like Wilkes-Barre has with the renting? I don't know if it's called the one-strike rule there. They just did it with Sherman Hills. Is there anything?
Well, we're looking at a lot of things, and we're looking at making some changes to our ordinances. But, yeah, that's something we're considering.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other comments?
Yeah, I would like to know the status on what's going on with McKinley Street.
Mark,
Is
you
that
have to state your name, please.
Mark Rabo, Hazleton, First Street. What's the status on McKinley Street? Is that anything being done on there? Or?
Well, maybe we could, Chris, maybe while he's asking that, I have a question. Yeah, where are we at on that? And is there light at the end of the tunnel, or give us a status report, if you could.
Last time we talked about it was an executive session. At that point in time, I believe that the direction was to discontinue the process regarding the property in New Jersey, if I recall that correctly. At least that was council's request. We're looking, and we actually spoke about this earlier today. at the administrative meeting, we're looking at an additional approach to see if there's any property that can be pursued and executed upon here in Luzerne County. Failing that, I know that council had some discussion about potentially taking action to clean up the
Well,
problem.
we had put CD money towards.
Do you know how
cleaning it
much money you've expended concerning this property? Just a rough guesstimate.
I couldn't even give you a rough guesstimate, Jack. I honestly-
500, 1,000, 2,000?
I honestly don't know as we sit here tonight.
More than 500?
I'm sure.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sure.
okay.
The cost for getting the money seems to be larger than if we would have just did it ourselves, and we're expending more money. And we did put money into CD, which should become available.
Well, last year, all the mayor had to do was his signature. He didn't want to do it, and he still doesn't want to do it. For what reason, I don't know. Now, this year, we put it in the CD budget, but that won't be free until, I think, March?
Somewhere in the spring.
March or April?
Charlie, may I ask you, I mean, we have this property on McKinley Street.
Right.
There's debris all over it. It's contained on the property, it's fenced off. People have come here, I'm sure you've seen pictures in the newspaper and whatnot. We consider it a liability on the city's part by leaving this property sit the way it is. I understand they wanted to go through the legal process of taking it through the owner in New Jersey, I believe they are from.
The chief, I think the chief explained this at the last meeting. The intent of administration was to see if we can establish an ability to pursue these out-of-town landlords who retreat back to another jurisdiction. And if we can execute upon their property in where they're living, the property that really is valuable, if we're able to do that, then that would have some impact moving forward. That was the intent. I'm just speaking to what the intent was.
The amount of what is being spent, I mean, would that be part of what you would get from their property, including all the legal bills, or just for getting the property cleaned up, that $500 or whatever it's going to cost?
Back up, Chris. You said make an impact. I don't understand. What
It's a
do you
test
mean?
case.
And again, I don't want to speak for the chief because he's not here this evening, but what I remember him saying, and what I think the administrative direction was if we can pursue valuable properties that are owned by some of these folks who are living in another jurisdiction. The issue is this, Jack. I think that oftentimes the property here that we are accruing the fines against may not be particularly valuable. And, you know, it may, the fines may outweigh the value of the property. So if we can take that and enter it in another jurisdiction and pursue it and execute upon some other property that is valuable.
Okay, but how many times have we done that, or has it been successful? None. You're the first case.
Right.
I think it's a waste of money, and I'll tell the chief to his face it's a waste of money. And it was a waste of money from day one. These people have a pile of rubble next to the house. It's dangerous. We, as a council, we're obligated to fix that, and we should do that. And the mayor, for whatever reason, doesn't want to do that. I don't know why. I don't know what's holding him up. But all he has to do is with his signature, say, use the CD money, and we clean it up.
And like I said, what we could get off of them, say it takes $500 to remove the debris on the property. Whatever it's costing us in lawyers, can we collect that as well? Because if we're going to seize or put a lien on their property in New Jersey, let's say, the $500, yeah, okay, but we will be able to recoup anything else besides that. We're going through all this expense, plus all the time it takes. Now, it also puts, I believe, Charlie, our city in a state of litigation if anybody's hurt on this property. You know, it's been going on too long. It's been going on since April, and I think the city needs to address it. Then pursue going after them, maybe possibly afterwards, for the damages that we could collect.
Right, certainly. I mean, if they're in litigation trying to get this property cleaned up, if someone falls and injures themselves, it's not an excuse, well, what, you know, don't sue us, we're in litigation. They're still going to sue you if they're injured on the property. So you may want to clean it up, put some money aside, clean it, and, you know, attempt to...
Well, it's not our property.
You can't, is it?
Right, it's not,
if
yeah,
we
it's not
go
the city
and
property.
Okay, wait. It's not a property, but we've done this before with other properties.
With all due respect, this happened in 2007.
I'm not saying you should not do it.
Yeah, but you're saying it's not our property. You're saying we can't do it.
Well, right.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. The comment
But
was
you're,
that you're
what you're
going to be
saying is
sued
it's
for
not our
su-
property and we won't be
The
sued.
comment was you're
Reading,
not
there was a
going to be-
case in Reading where someone fell on debris property and they sued Reading. That's, you might want to
Right, the
check
city
with
could
that.
potentially be liable.
Anybody can be sued for anything.
Well,
But I just wanted to be clear that that doesn't necessarily mean you have liability.
I know.
But it also doesn't mean you shouldn't take action to clean up the problem. I understand that.
right, the city has some liability. I mean, they expose themselves to liability by leaving the property in that condition.
This was done in 2007 when there was a property that there was brick falling off of from the scaffolding from on Broad Street where the Powell Furniture Building used to be. And Mayor Barletta issued a warning along with Mary Ellen Leib, who was the administrator at the time, and she said she warned the owner, who was an out-of-state owner, that if they didn't take care of this, the city would dismantle and demolish the property, which they ended up doing before Fun Fest of that year. So you might want to check that out. You know, I think what happened was the McKinley Street, thing is it's a flawed process. You don't just go after the out-of-state owner and hope on a wing and a prayer that they're just going to pay you for to clean it up. You got to give them the warning, which the city did, but instead of following through with that warning, they just decided, okay, well, we're just going to hope that you're going to get us the money, which they never did, and it's just left languishing. So you might want to follow with the previous pattern, which was, go to court, get the injunction to clear it out the property or demolish the property. If you get the ruling on it, you should present your evidence and then do it that way. I mean, you don't just say, okay, we're just going to demolish it and then leave the rubble there and debris and then just wait for 10 months or a year or 2 years to clear it out. That makes no sense. And like you just said, it's going to cause the city liability. I mean, why just not do the whole thing at one shot? That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks. Well, maybe, no, Mike wants to talk. Maybe he'll talk about it.
Mike Wilfing, Hazleton. I think the city should look at the International Property Maintenance Code because they're not following it properly. They have an obligation to clean that up under their own code. Then you go for a lien. Calls for that in the code. I think they should go back.
That's what you've done in the past in New Jersey?
They should go back and review it. I mean, we're chasing windmills because these people in New Jersey may be judgment-proof. And we're going to spend all this money and we still have a hazard. Remove the hazard first. It's like if there's a traffic accident on Broad Street, you're going to leave the wrecked car sitting there?
I don't understand the
You're
thinking of
remove
the
it.
mayor and the chief, because I argued with him, although the paper didn't report any of that. I argued with the chief that we should remove that and clean it, and all the mayor has to do was sign a piece of paper.
Well, it says that in the International Property Maintenance Code.
Well,
You remove the hazard, then you
Yeah.
you file a lien.
well, the mayor
And like
the
the chief says,
have
there's no
same
house there.
Problem.
The lot's not going to burn. The lot's still there, you can still sell.
Yeah. Thank you.
The lot is worth money, in other words. And I'm surely worth enough to recoup for the cost of cleaning up.
Dee Deacus, Hazleton. It was interesting. On Poplar Street, about 2 years ago, they knocked down half a building because they, quote, said it was dangerous. Now, the city walked in and knocked it down. I felt they should have boarded up the part that they didn't knock down because they have open doors, but there's already a precedence. And so for them to say that we can knock it down, if your grass is too high, the city can come in and mow the grass and give you a bill for it. So if something is minor as mowing the grass, the city could step in onto that property and mow it versus one that's a true hazard, not that high grass doesn't have their own problems. The other thing is you're not using all the tools available to you. One of the things is if they're a property owner in New Jersey, they need a good credit rating. And why haven't we filed with the credit bureau that they owe this money to the city and they're deadbeats? It would affect their ability to get loans. It may be enough for them to want to get it off their credit record.
They might already have bad credit, Dean. They could care
But
less
it doesn't
about credit.
matter. These are steps we should be taking. These are not really hard steps to take.
Yeah.
And why haven't we done a sheriff's sale on the property besides the lien? If somebody owes money to me and they don't pay me right away, I could actually take them to court and do a sheriff's sale on it. And so again, these are all tools that are easy to use. And this way we can at least get possession of the property and then take care of it whatever way you want. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, could you, when you get a chance, email me the total of the bills for McKinley Street? Just a rough total. I don't need it itemized.
Yeah.
Just a grand total.
No problem.
Thank you. Any other questions? That's it. Questions from council? Keith, would you like to
Okay.
make any comments?
I don't know. I think that it's kind of a sad day when someone was up for appointment that could have brought a lot to the table for the zoning board, and for whatever reason, that didn't occur. So I would like to thank Kevin for coming here and answering questions, and I thought that he would bring a lot to the table on the zoning board with all of his experience there, especially with the way that it is now with losing so many years of experience. Something else that I was looking at besides that.
Oh, Keith, excuse me. Could I interrupt you for a minute?
I can.
Just a minute. I just want to ask the solicitor. I don't know for both of you, but I don't think our votes matter. I think he gets seated, but I don't. You tell me.
What was the?
Our votes for these other commissions. Our votes mean nothing.
No,
That's-
they're voted down.
These are the mayor's
voted.
picks.
I know.
I'm just giving you my opinion from my experience of being on
You
council.
voted no, you know.
I know, I voted no, but these are the mayor's picks, and but what are you saying? No?
I don't know. I didn't look to see if it's with consent and advice of council or not. I don't remember if these positions are or not.
It says with advice and consent.
Yeah,
I don't know that
this went. These same things went to the Supreme Court 20 years ago,
Right.
and they decided it, and it was decided that our picks are the sewer and the water and the authorities, some authorities, and the mayor has all the other ones. So
I agree.
Okay. Anyway.
But will
going
it
on
take
to
just, excuse me, Keith, sorry. Will it take just looking at that, at that ruling, or is there other research, or?
No, the code and the ruling would really be it.
Right, the code says with advice and consent of council.
Yeah,
So
that's-
okay, wait. So you're saying they're not seated. And Chris, what are you saying? They're seated or not seated?
Look at it.
Okay, you're not sure.
Because the code does say with advice and consent, but if the ruling is on point and it says what you're saying, Jack, then yeah, I agree with you.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. But that's fine. You could, but in.
No, if that was the case, the mayor wouldn't be using executive orders. Okay?
You want me to
Because
research
when
that?
we vote no, such as we did with Steve Hahn, all right, he was put on by executive order. So evidently, our vote does hold weight.
Well, I'm saying I don't want you to research it, but the mayor might override me and tell you to research it. So my saying is no. Okay?
That's that, these are
You might have.
Anyway.
He might say yes.
Can I,
Yeah.
I mean, can I interrupt you guys
Go
when
ahead.
you
I'm
keep
sorry. I'm
talking?
sorry.
I mean, it's ridiculous
sorry.
at this point.
I'm sorry.
I still want to, reiterate my point that I think that it's a sad day when that occurs. There's another thing that I was looking at, and it was regarding Ordinance 96-1 that appointed the law firm of Skakowski last week. I believe that the appointment was wrong. It was not. You did not follow the resolution. Joe Wojtko was the last one that was appointed to legal advisor to City Council, and it was an indefinite term, and he was never removed. So he is still the acting legal advisor to council. I also have a couple wrong things. No, it's an indefinite term. Read your ordinance. Also, I just have other questions about that. I think that if if you take the advice and consent of the legal advisor over the position of solicitor as stated by third-class city code, then, and if they're not in agreement and you vote with the legal advisor and not with the advice and consent of the solicitor, that you're opening us up to a lawsuit, because as per third-class city code, the city solicitor's opinion has everything to do with the city, not the legal advice of the person appointed to legal advisor to city council. So I would like to just state that for the record.
Okay, but in all reference to that,
can't-
I think we were open to lawsuits when we didn't have any legal counsel, and we still may be open, and that was because you and your majority didn't want the solicitor here.
I never said that. I was the one who said that I wanted him when I was in negotiations with the budget meeting with the mayor that I was in, and I said that I wanted Chris at every meeting, and at that meeting the mayor said yes, and then it kind of fell apart. I was the one that was advocating for Chris to come to the meetings.
Wanted him
So
only
just
as an
because
on an as-needed basis, if I'm
that
not
was
mistaken.
Jim's words, is what he said afterwards, and I believe me when I say it. That was in the
okay.
meeting. So anyway, I am stating, that the legalities of this, I think, are. I just am questioning it. I'm also questioning. I don't know really. I think most of their experience is with zoning, and has nothing to do with municipal or third-class city code. They're no experience. So I'm just really concerned about that. On the other hand, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. For those of you who are up for appointments, thank you for coming and answering any questions. Amelia Carr, thank you for coming and staying for the whole meeting, and Bill Marie and Craig, I think that you're still here. And I would just like to thank everyone else that, agreed to, give their time to the city. I know that it's not a lot of compensation. Some of them, you don't get any compensation. And I would really like to thank everyone that agreed if they were asked by the mayor for these appointments. And I'd like to thank all of them for their service as they go in, either as new appointees or reappointments to these positions. Okay.
Thank you.
And everyone have a
Thank you.
good rest of the week.
Jeff, do you want to?
I just want to thank everybody that wants to volunteer for these boards, and I'm looking forward to that budget meeting on Thursday so we can move forward. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Dr. Sosa?
Not much. Thank you. Thank you all who put your names on up. Obviously, there are some, and it's not always an easy task, but it is in conscience that I vote either a yes or a no as to what I feel is the most appropriate thing. And so to those of you who are taking on these tasks right now, I wish you all the luck in the world. It's not easy tasks, and it's not something that comes with a lot of accolades. And we do appreciate it, and we'd like to see more people tender, at least in your resumes, to the mayor for some of these positions. It is interesting sometimes to see, unfortunately, names that do appear a lot of times, and there are a lot of good people in this city who we want to see on these boards. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Jeannie?
I'd like to thank, once again, everybody for coming tonight. We appreciate the hours a little bit later, but we appreciate the fact that you care enough about the city to come. Complaints are welcome. Jack had discussed something about a website that he's going to extend so that you have the ability to get information that you're seeking, which I think is a very good idea, and to be able to put in your complaints and ask questions. As far as everybody that's been appointed, congratulations. Those who you have not made it on a board, we apologize, but we did what we felt we had to do at this time. It's not an easy task to do. I'd like to thank the solicitor for attending. but we did have a discussion about this earlier on many times, and this is why we felt it was necessary, that we needed to not exactly fly by the seat of our pants anymore. I'm not blaming Chris Lesser. There was decisions that were made that were administrative, which eliminated him from attending a lot of meetings. But that being said, I'd like to welcome Charlie DeCosmo and his firm of Frank Skakowski. I think they're going to be a welcome addition. I don't see any problems. I think they're going to work together well. I think two heads are better than one, and I think it's all for the benefit of the city. So I appreciate that you attended tonight, Chris, and I appreciate you being here, Charlie. And I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and please keep coming back.
I'll be brief. I just want to thank everybody for coming and thank the people that got appointed to the boards. I know you'll do a good job. It's sometimes a hard and thankless job, but we really appreciate it. And I know we filled some openings now, but there's always openings available, so people leave, or if anyone's interested in serving on any boards, I'd like to just tell everyone to send the resume in to our clerk, Lisa. If you're interested in serving on any boards, you could mark a preference down or just send your resume in saying you would be open to any position. We're always looking for good people who care about the city. With that, I just have one other comment. We haven't gotten our budget yet, and I'm concerned about that. They're making a revision, and it really has me worried. The mayor has me worried of where he's going with his budget. He's saying that he's doing another budget, revising it. This will be, I don't know, the third or fourth or fifth one. Last year we had 8 budgets. We didn't even know which one we were voting on at the time. But I know they made changes from the insurance, and there's other things that they corrected. But I'm really concerned about that and hoping we can get one shortly that we could digest and go by. I talked to Steve earlier, but I'm worried about the budget, and hopefully we can get that done and get the city back on track. With that, I'll say thank you for coming. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second. Yes, dear. Yeah.
What's this? A copy of a check for $89,000 for an illegal cigarette case, and what that money was used for? Where's that? Why? Yeah.
Hopefully it's negative.
And it should be corrected. That's the mayor's. The mayor needs a punch in the face, is what the mayor needs. He's in La La Land. He just wants, all he's interested in is cutting ribbons and collecting. He cuts his ribbon and collects his $58,000, and he's going to floor thousand, 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 and he's going